Hey YouTube, it's the half man, half amazing Black Clark Kent coming at you with another video. I know I haven't done a video in a while. I figured I'd do one today because I have some free time. A lot to talk about today. It's been a couple months since I've been on, but I figured I'd just come on here and talk to you guys about some things that have been on my mind. And you know, 2020 is almost over. I know a lot of people are happy about that, so let's dive right into it. And before I dive into it, make sure you like, subscribe, share the video, comment, leave some comments below. I'm gonna have a lot to unpack today, so let's get right into it. So, as you're fully aware, 2020 is almost over. 2020 has been a very interesting year due to what's going on in the world. And there's been a lot of tension, a lot of things going on with tension, anxiety, stress. A lot of people are just on edge, due to this whole global pandemic that we are witnessing. So I want to talk about a couple subjects. I'm not a controversial person, so this is my opinion on these subjects. This is just one man's opinion. You're allowed to have your own opinion about these things, but I just want to voice my opinion on these certain subjects. So let's get into it. Let's dive right into it. Let's unpack a couple of these topics, okay? So the first thing I want to talk about is the presidential race that we just finished having between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. So 100 years ago, women were not allowed to vote. Women were allowed to vote in 1920. I don't know the exact date, but I know it was the year 1920. So it was almost 100 years ago, which is not that long ago. We still have people living today that are 100 years old and plus, and some of them are women that weren't allowed to vote. I mean, they were young, so obviously they weren't allowed to vote. But at that time, they were living in that era where women were not allowed to vote until 1920. So I feel like you being an American citizen, you have the right to vote for who you want to. You have a right to be any type of political party that you want to be. So you have Democrats, you have Republicans, you have independents, you have Green Party, you have all these different types of political affiliations. Now, to put it out there, I'm a Democrat, but I don't have a problem with people that are Republicans. See, that's the thing about this. This is the point I'm trying to make. So, all over social media, and I will admit there were some of my friends that were doing the same thing, because I come from a Democratic state. Massachusetts is a very blue state, which is fine. I live in Arizona, which is predominantly red, but I believe it's a blue state now. But whatever. I digress. So my point is this, right? If you have someone that voted for Joe Biden and you have someone that voted for Donald Trump, I've seen it all over social media that if you voted for Donald Trump, you're automatically a racist. If you are a Republican and you voted for Donald Trump, you're a racist. And if you voted for him, take yourself off my friends list, because I don't tolerate that type of racism. Let's take a step back for a second. Did Donald Trump say some outlandish things? Absolutely. Has he been the best president? Probably not. From what I gathered, that he was the second highest voted president in history. I don't know. I saw that on another YouTube channel, so I don't know the data behind that. But here's the thing, right? Republican or not, you are allowed to vote for whoever you want to. Now, I don't think if you are a Republican, you voted for Donald Trump, that you're a racist. That's just my opinion. Okay? I don't understand how everyone was talking about, everyone was on social media just ripping Republicans, people having back and forth arguments on social media. That's something you do not want to do. I would never engage with an argument with someone back and forth on social media. I don't like to argue with people in general. But to argue with somebody on social media, that's something I will not do. No, thank you. I have no desire to do that. So this is how I feel what's gonna happen. Joe Biden is gonna be the next president of the United States of America. That's official. But what I also feel like is all these people that were hyping, oh, Donald Trump's out of office, Donald Trump's out of office, Biden. Okay. Once Biden gets elected into office, all these people that were talking about this, that, and the third are gonna care less about it after January 20th. That's just my opinion. I'm not big on politics in general. Excuse me. I'm not big on politics in general, but the fact you had all these people, you know, trashing Republicans or vice versa, you know, all these people that were rioting, looting, everything that was going on in the midst of everything pandemic-wise. I mean, you got what you wanted, but let's see what happens in the next 4 years. That's all I got to say about that. I have friends that are Republicans. I'm a Democrat. I don't have any problem with my friends that are Republicans. Like the fact that some people would say, if you're a Republican and you voted for Donald Trump, get off my friends list. Okay, people have the right to vote for whoever they want to. Just because it doesn't fit your narrative doesn't mean it's wrong. People have the right to vote for who they want to. That's their right as an American citizen. And like I said, if it doesn't fit your narrative, then it's a problem. And I don't like that. I mean, I don't tell people who to vote for. You have the right to vote for whoever you want to. That is your right. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, you're a Republican, I'm a Democrat, we can't be friends. You know, I had people tell me like, oh, you're a Trump supporter? Like, no, I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not a Biden supporter. I'm Democrat because I've always been Democrat, and I was told Democrat are for the poor people. That's what I was told. I know I'm wildly misinformed, and I will admit that, but it is what it is. I'm not really into politics to begin with, so, but I wanted to share my 2 cents about that. So, I mean, tell me how you feel about that. Leave the comments below. I welcome all feedback, and I just want to know what you feel about that. I feel like people should be able to get along no matter what the political party is. I mean, I live in a red state before it became blue. I work with people every day that are staunch Republicans. That's fine. We're still friends. We're still good. We get along really well. I have no problem with them whatsoever. And that's the problem with society nowadays, especially with social media. If it doesn't fit your narrative, you're either a racist, you're a hater, or you don't know what you're talking about. And that's the big problem that I have. That's why I'm not a big fan of social media. I have it for various reasons, but, you know, if it doesn't fit your narrative, then you are one of those 3 things I just mentioned. All right, I want to move on to something else that I actually had a conversation with one of my friends the other day about this. So we talk about movies, media, and like, you know, we talk about racism when it comes to media and movies and whatever, satire, whatever. So I'll give you an example. One of my favorite cartoons is The Boondocks. Love the show, love it. I watched every episode back and forth. I can recite some of the lines on the cartoon. That's how much I watched the cartoon. Now, as you're probably familiar, The Boondocks is not your Saturday morning cartoon, whatever, right? So the person who made the cartoon was Aaron McGruder, who's a black man. So let me tell you where I'm going with this. So for those that watch The Boondocks, one of my favorite characters in the show is Uncle Ruckus. For those that don't know who Uncle Ruckus is, he's the darkest character in the cartoon, but he thinks he's white. He says he has a skin condition. He's an overweight black man in his 70s that has a skin condition called revitiligo. It's the opposite of Michael Jackson. So instead of him getting whiter, he gets darker. So, yeah. So I remember one episode, right, where Tom, who is an assistant district attorney that's married to a white woman, was possessed by a black ghost. So the granddad, called Uncle Ruckus to come over and perform an exorcism on Tom to try to get the black ghost out of Tom. right? Now, Uncle Ruckus doesn't like black people at all. He thinks he's the white man. He doesn't like black people, but he tolerates Tom because he's married to a white woman. So Uncle Ruckus brings a bag of tools over to put the fear in the heart of a black ghost to get the black ghost out of Tom. So Uncle Ruckus pulls out a noose, a whip, a nightstick, a branding iron, but that wasn't the worst tool he pulled out. Remember, these are tools to put the fear in the heart of a black person. He pulled out a job application, which, it's funny. Some people might find it offensive. I find it funny. But let's double back for a second. The person who made the cartoon was a black person. He's relaying black stereotypes, right? I mean, he did the fried chicken flu, which was like the KFC, like running out of chicken. I mean, I think he forward thought that because of the whole Popeyes thing last year. But anyway, right? So the man that made the cartoon was black, and no one's safe on this cartoon. He made fun of Tyler Perry, which I'll go into in a second. He made fun of Tyler Perry. He made fun of Chris Brown, Rihanna. He made fun of Usher. Like, no one was safe from this cartoon. But let me play devil's advocate for a second. If Bill O'Reilly or someone of Caucasian prominence said the same thing, how would black people feel about it? Oh, it would be hell on earth. Now, if you sit there and tell me that that's not true, you're lying to yourself. If Bill O'Reilly or someone of white prominence made this cartoon, it would be hell on earth. It'd be hell on earth. Hell on earth. It'd be like the start of World War III if Bill O'Reilly made that Boondocks cartoon and make reference to black satire. But let me go into Tyler Perry for a second. So everyone knows who Tyler Perry is. Everyone makes, I'm not a big fan of his movies. I'm just not. I think the Madea character is stale and dry. I think he retired the character, I just think it ran its course. I didn't think his movies are that funny, to be honest with you. So the fact that Tyler Perry dresses up as a stereotypical black grandmother, gun-toting grandmother, shucking and jiving and talking all type of reckless stuff, people say, oh, that's okay, it's just Tyler Perry being Madea. But that fits a black stereotype too. But that's okay though, right? So like, if Bill O'Reilly did the Boondocks, that would be terrible. But Tyler Perry poking fun of the black culture and making a profit off it is okay. That's what I'm talking about, the double standards as well. Think about it for a second. Just think about it for a second, okay? It's okay for Tyler Perry to portray stereotypical black grandmothers as gun-toting from the South, uneducated, kills their husbands, whatever. That's okay for him to do that and make a profit off it. But Bill O'Reilly making the Boondocks, hell on earth would happen. I'm not saying I agree with it, and he's smart enough to do that, but I'm saying look at it from a double standard perspective. Just look at it from that way, okay? So think about that for a second. Just, let that unpack for a second. Think about it. Like, is there a double standard in society? I think there is a double standard in society. I mean, no, to be honest with you, I have no fight, no skin in the game. It's just one man's opinion about some topics. So diving off topic for a second, not talking about that for a moment. I was supposed to go somewhere for New Year's. I was supposed to go to San Francisco for New Year's. But due to the whole pandemic and the numbers spiking, California's on a shutdown for 30 days. So that's going to put a dent in me going to San Francisco for New Year's. And probably going to halt traveling for a little bit because, once again, we have a pandemic still going on. The numbers are spiking and, can't really go anywhere. So it's going to be me here for New Year's probably, which is fine. Opportunity for me to make some extra money and stuff like that. I've been here almost 2 years now in Arizona. Best 2 years of my life so far. I have no complaints, no issues. I'm hoping to do better on making more YouTube content. I appreciate the 124 subscribers I do have. I greatly appreciate y'all. I've been trying to do a better platform, but I've just been so busy with other things, doing some traveling, doing some other things. I haven't really had time to dedicate to my YouTube channel as much as I want to. But today was a different story. I figured let me get out here and talk about a couple things and go from there. I've been watching this guy on YouTube. His name is Kevin Samuels. I would say he's like a lifestyle coach. He talks about various things when it comes to relationships. The man is good. The man is good at what he talks about. And the thing about it is, you know, in relationships, you know, there has to be a level of communication and transparency. That's something that I'm very strong and advocate on. There has to be a level of communication and a level of transparency, and a level of openness. And the one thing I like about Kevin Samuels is he tells women, because most of his callers that call into his show are women. And the cool thing about it is he tells these women what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. And some women don't like that. Now, you know, I mean, he made a point the other day that it struck me. One of the points he made the other day, so Gabrielle Sidibe, which everyone knows her as Precious from that movie, announced that she was engaged to a white man. Now, for me personally, I don't care who you love. Love is love. I don't care if you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian. You find someone that you love, race does not matter. It's all about the person, inside and outside. That's just my opinion on that. So a caller called in and said, oh, you know, due to her options, her options may be limited because she's, you know, dark-skinned and overweight. So people in the black community are happy for her because she found someone that loves her. And he stopped her right there. He's like, wait a minute, wait. Gabrielle Sidibe is a millionaire that is going to be marrying down. The man that is engaged to isn't a millionaire. I think he's just a regular guy, which is perfectly fine. You know? And he's like, but he referenced Mary J. Blige too. He's like, when Mary J. Blige announced that she was engaged to her husband, the black community went all sideways like, girl, you can do better, get a prenup, because I guess the man had kids from a previous marriage or relationship. So it's like, so when Gabrielle Sidibe gets engaged to a white man, it's all love. But when a black woman gets married to another black man, it's more like, girl, get a prenup. Girl, you can do better, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, wow, that's really eye-opening. It's not surprising. I hate to say it. It's not surprising because me personally, I've been in situations where I've been in a relationship and my now ex-girlfriend's sister can't keep a man. So I'll just say it like this. Misery loves company sometimes, and sometimes when people are doing better than you, they want to bring you down to their level, so they do anything they can to sabotage that situation. You take that for what you want to take it for, but, you know, if you're easily influenced by people that are miserable, then you deserve what you get. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that with that subject. But Kevin Samuels makes some great content. I just subscribed to his channel yesterday. I told one of my coworkers about it. He watched a couple of his videos. I mean, like I said before, the one thing I like about him and the one thing I appreciate about him is that he tells women what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. You know? And I mean, I don't have any affiliation with the man. I just think the man makes some great content, and I'm a big fan of his already. I like what he has to say. I have no complaints about the channel. I'm looking forward to watching some of his live podcasts, his broadcasts, stuff like that. I mean, he makes some really, really great content. So I'm looking forward to unpacking that and diving into that. So I've been on for almost 20 minutes, which is one of my longer pre-recorded videos. So I'm gonna try to make a better effort to come back on here and do some more content. I know like the last couple of my videos have been all videos from me traveling and stuff like that. California a couple times, you know. So I'm gonna make a conscious effort to try to do more content when I can. I appreciate the support, guys. Like I said, leave some comments below. Let me know what you think about the two topics I talked about, because I think there is a double standard when it comes to different types of shows. And I mean, I know Spike Lee had an issue with Tyler Perry doing the Madea character and stuff like that. I just feel like a lot of his shows revolve around that character or other stuff that involve, like Meet the Browns, stuff like that. So actually, let me talk about this for a second. So Aaron McGruder went at Tyler Perry on one of his episodes, and I guess at the time the Boondocks and Meet the Browns were on the same network. So after the episode aired, Tyler Perry went to the TV network and said, listen, I don't appreciate the way that I was portrayed in that cartoon. So he said, one of two things need to happen. Either that episode needs to get pulled, or I'm thinking about pulling my show from the network. So Tyler Perry, being the bigger star of the two, had the episode pulled. So the name of the episode in the Boondocks is called Pause. But the thing about it is, that episode is not found on YouTube, Hulu, Netflix. The only way you can see that episode is if you buy the box DVD set. But it had it pulled from every streaming platform because of Tyler Perry's power. And I guess the way it was, I mean, you could, if you ever get a chance to watch the episode, you can form your own judgment about what you think the episode was about. But Tyler Perry was very triggered about that episode. I thought it was funny. I mean, satire is funny, but I mean, Aaron McGruder was ruthless though. He was ruthless and savage about the episode. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was funny. I thought it was hilarious, but Tyler Perry not so. He thought it was way below the line and unnecessary and uncalled for. But see, I like the Boondocks. I like different satire cartoons like Archer, the Boondocks, South Park, like stuff like that doesn't offend me. So also, actually, you know what? I got another topic I want to talk about. I want to talk about this show that I watched a little bit back a couple years ago, but since I moved to Arizona and I had more time, I talk about it now. I watch a little bit now. What's up with that show, 90 Day Fiance? Now, basically, you have people from America that go over to other countries to find love, or they meet people on dating websites and stuff like that, or on dating website, and they go over and meet the person. And if they like agree to like get married, they have to apply for something called a K-1 visa, which is a marriage visa. So it allows the person to come over to the States, and they have 90 days between the time they get here to get legally married. So I remember watching one of the episodes. I guess it was this guy named David that was from Las Vegas. And he was a 60-year-old man living in Vegas, very well off, apparently so. I guess he's been on this chat website and he met his girlfriend, Lana. I guess they've known each other for 7 years. And he paid by the minute. So, I mean, when they had the tell-all episode, I guess he spent over $300,000 in just like chat rooms talking to this girl. So he went over there to meet her 4 separate times, and she bailed on him 4 separate times. The 5th time he went back, he finally met her, but you could tell it was like a creepy relationship because like she looks very uncomfortable. Like he had to bargain to get it, like they went bowling, and he's like, well, if I get a strike, can I get a kiss? And it was like, she would reluctantly said yes. And you could tell throughout the whole scene that she was very uncomfortable and stuff like that. Like, she was very uncomfortable. And dude looked like a creep. And he got her a phone, right? So he wanted to get off the chat sites. So he got her an iPhone, right? So they could communicate on the phone, communicate via text with Russian translating. I think she was from Kiev, the Ukraine or something like that. And if I'm not mistaken, they speak Russian. So, and they had asked her, like, has Lana been using the phone? And she told him she hasn't been using the phone because her nails is too long. So everyone just lost their stuff. Like, they lost it. Like, dude, you gotta be serious. Like, he probably had a private investigator. This dude was so strong on trying to find this girl. When he went back the 4th time and she bailed on him, he went to her hometown, asked to meet up for lunch. She agreed. She didn't show up. So I guess what happened was he had booked a cruise for the 2 of them, right? And in order for them to go on the cruise, she had to provide an address. This man went to the address, knocked on the door to look for her, and they find out it was some old man living there. She gave him a fake address. And I'm like, dude, like, he was so pent up and hard on trying to find this girl. I think TLC paid her money just to show up. You know, I think TLC paid her money to show up. But you could tell right away she was not comfortable. And every time they would meet, like, she would have an excuse or something like that. Like, he got there on a Friday. They weren't gonna be able to meet on a Monday because she had to take her nephews to her hockey game. He's like, where's her priorities? I'm her man. I'm like, bro, you're not her man. You are not her man, dude. And then even after the fact, he on the tell-all, he's like, they're supposedly engaged, but they're not together, and she's back on the dating websites. So, and they were like, dude, you're either being scammed or you're very delusional. So, yeah, I mean, it's interesting TV. It's interesting. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, it's very interesting. It's very, like, you know, it's like, it's mind-blowing. Like, dude, like, get a grip of reality, like, you know. So apparently he's been on those chat sites. He's been to Ukraine over 10 times. He said he's been engaged 5 times. But I don't know. I mean, he's like, it's not a poor man's game. Like, this dude spent over $300,000 on chat sites. I mean, I don't tell anyone what to do with their money, but $300,000 in some chat sites, I can pay off everything and be happy with that. But hey, listen, he earned the money. He has to do whatever he wants to do with his money. I just think it's kind of crazy that, you know, he went there 4 times. She's dished on him. She said, oh, she had surgery and her brother died, which could be true. And the 2 other times she just bailed on him and ghosted him, so wasn't even available. So the 5th time was the charm, I guess. And he had to bargain for a kiss if he bowled a strike, which I think is kind of sad, but hey, whatever, you know? So, all right, YouTube. I was walking around today because where I wanted to sit at and shoot this video, they were playing cricket. So I decided to take a nice little walk in the Arizona sun, which is, it's 10:44 in the morning and it's 57 degrees out. So I'm not really complaining about that. So, but like I said before, leave some comments down below. Tell me what you think about the subjects I talked about. Let's have a dialogue, and I'll try my best to provide more content because, you know, it's been a while since I've done any videos. So I'm looking forward to doing more videos, guys. All right, so you guys have a great weekend. Be safe, and I'll talk to you guys soon. This is the half man, half amazing Black Clark Kent out. Talk to you soon. Bye.